Marianne Bachmeier calmly walked into a courtroom at the Lübeck District Courthouse with purpose in every step. She saw the familiar face of a bearded man, the man that had been giving her nightmares for 2 years. Marianne reached into her purse, took out a Beretta pistol, aimed it at the man's back and fired. Again, and again, and again. Seconds later, Klaus Grabowski took his last breath. What was it that drove Marianne to murder on that gray and rainy day in Lübeck? Marianne Bachmeier was raised in Stutz, where her parents had relocated after leaving East Russia. Her father had been a Waffen SS soldier. Unloved by her hysterical mother, deserted by her alcoholic father, and beaten by her stepfather, Marianne had a horrific time as a teenager. When she was 16 years old, she fell pregnant. She didn't feel that she was up to the task of being a single teen mom, so she made the difficult decision to give her baby up for adoption. During her last years in high school, Marianne's only solace was a boyfriend whom she met at school. 2 years after having her first baby at age 18, she was pregnant again, this time by her boyfriend. She felt insecure and uncertain about the future and didn't know if she could keep the baby or not. One night, shortly before she gave birth to her second child, she was sexually assaulted at a disco. Reeling in the trauma and facing the breakdown of her relationship, she decided to give her baby away for the second time for adoption. After Marianne left school, she needed a job and a place to stay. She worked as a waitress and found that she rather liked the lifestyle of late nights and sleep-ins. In 1972, she was working at Tapasa in Lübeck's Old Town when she began an on-again, off-again relationship with the bar's manager, Christian. At the age of 22, she was pregnant for a third time. But this time was different. She wanted to keep the baby as she was older and felt she was in a better position to take care of a child. In the years since she'd given up her 2 other daughters, she felt guilty and empty. She simply could not face losing another child. Christian was not ready to commit to a serious relationship, and Marianne decided to raise her child by herself. Her daughter Anna was born on November 14, 1972. After Anna's birth, she had herself sterilized, adamant that she never wanted any more children. At first, everything in Marianne's life centered around her baby. All of her friends and co-workers at the bar she worked knew little Anna, and she became part of Marianne's world. However, the novelty soon wore off, and Marianne began to struggle with the challenges of being a single mother. She had to go back to work because she needed the money. So she took Anna with her to work and was reportedly never in a rush to go home when her shift behind the bar ended. Anna grew up and was known to be a happy and free-spirited little kid. Her mother treated her like a little adult, and Anna was forced to be self-reliant for many things from an early age. Marianne could be selfish and neglectful of Anna. Working and socializing at Tapasa was everything to Marianne, and Anna literally grew up inside the bar. Customers at the time remembered that the young girl often fell asleep on a bench while her mother partied. A friend of Marianne said that Anna was a lively child who never really had a warm home life. Marianne realized that the situation wasn't ideal, so she spoke with a married couple whom she knew about taking Anna in as a foster child. This would only have been a temporary situation and no decision had been reached. Marianne was only thinking about it at the time. Anna skipped school on May 5th in order to retaliate against her mom after a prior argument, but by the next day, Anna had still not turned up. Marianne knew Anna was mad at her, so she thought she was hiding at a friend's house to make her mother worry. But none of Anna's friends knew where she was. No one had seen her the previous day. That afternoon, a woman walked into the local police station and told police that her fiancé, 35-year-old butcher Klaus Grabowski, had confessed to her about a heinous crime. According to the woman, Grabowski had killed little Anna. Grabowski, a 35-year-old butcher, kidnapped Anna when she attempted to visit a friend who was her own age. He is said to have strangled Anna with a pair of tights after holding her for a number of hours at his home. The prosecutor claims that he had bound the girl tightly, placed her in a box, and buried it in a shallow grave on the canal side. Klaus was a sexual offender who had previously spent time in prison for abusing 2 girls. He had hormone therapy 2 years after being castrated in 1976 while he was being held captive. Klaus said that he had no intentions of abusing Anna sexually after being apprehended. He said that the girl wanted to say he touched her in an inappropriate way so she could get money from him. The same evening that police received their tip, Klaus was captured. He acknowledged killing Anna, but denied abusing her sexually. He said that the girl was trying to get money from him by saying that he had touched her inappropriately to her mother. His account of the events infuriated Marianne, who retaliated a year later in the courtroom as Klaus Grabowski was getting ready to go on trial. On March 6, 1981, the third day of the trial, Marianne Bachmeier snuck a .22 caliber Beretta pistol into the Lübeck District Court. Klaus Grabowski, 35, was hit by 7 of the 8 bullets she fired while aiming the pistol toward his back. Grabowski passed out en route to the hospital. After getting her revenge, Marianne was promptly charged with murder. When requested to provide a sample of her handwriting during her trial, she wrote, "I did it for you, Anna." His assertion that her daughter was extorting him infuriated Marianne. During Klaus Grabowski's trial, she admitted to bringing a loaded gun into the courtroom, but she claimed she didn't intend to use it against him until she found out he was going to disparage her late daughter in court. She insisted that she had seen visions of Anna and that she had shot Klaus in the back, as if in a dream. On November 2, 1982, Marianne was charged with murder. After looking at the evidence, the prosecution changed the charge from murder to manslaughter, and Marianne got 8 years in prison, but was released after serving 3 years. Marianne was praised for her relentless acts of vigilance, but once she was found guilty, she found herself at the center of a public uproar, and her trial attracted attention from all over the world. People who believed Marianne did nothing wrong after killing her daughter's killer, and those who believed she shouldn't have done it, were at opposite sides of the trial. Although she received a lot of support, other people said she shouldn't have. On September 17, 1996, Marianne Bachmeier, 46, passed away from pancreatic cancer in a hospital in Lübeck. She was buried next to her daughter, Anna.